Thanks for joining. We are working on Red, Yellow, Green, which is a social quality assurance tool. Here's the open source GitHub repository. Today we're supporting multiple social channels. So previously we've been working with TikTok and YouTube, which is a single repurpose.io workflow. In this stream, the primary feature is to support looping over multiple workflows. Some of the things that we are going to do as second order concerns is update the schema to utilize unique identifiers for TikTok, YouTube, and so forth. Basically what you can see on the screen right here. TikTok URL. Mark it as unique. We are also going to implement a workflow entity. And alter the way we do caching. Those are second order concerns. But the primary concern is just a loop. And I have access to GPT-4 plugins now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me refresh the page and see if we can see the plugins. Yep, you see now I have the purple stars. Are they stars? I don't know. This is a previous chat that I started without plugins, so I don't know whether I can start to use plugins on a chat that was like already kicked off. You know what I mean? That's cool that I can export my data. That's pretty cool. Web browsing and third-party plugins. Let's go. I don't know that I have any use for them, but we'll see. Okay, so I will continue with this existing chat. We used this in a prior stream. And I'm simply going to continue with it because it's partially aware of the schema. So the first thing that I'd like to do, love OpenAI, says the nerdy engineer. Hey, thanks for being here. Me too, me too. So, you know what? I'm going to start a fresh conversation. And I'm going to grab this whole index file and ask it to scrape the workflow ID page. So let's go over to repurpose. And the workflows page is this one, workflows URL. Let's go to the top of the main function. GitHub Copilot helping me out a little bit there. Okay. Workflow list CSV path. Control C, Control F, Control V, enter. And see that is listed in this comment. So that's how it's aware of that. Yo, what we making? We are making a scraper for repurpose.io. So it's called Red, Yellow, Green, and the point of it is to check my social quality across channels. So if I make a TikTok video, I might also send it over to YouTube. And I want to have a single place that I can go that tells me how it did across the board. Not just on YouTube, not just on TikTok, but across the board. So that's what we're building here. Thanks for the follow, Leonardo. Okay, so we have these workflows that we're scraping over here, and we are going to drop them into this CSV. I have an env file that's going to use some environment variables to tell the scraper the workflow names that I want it to scrape, comma separated. So I'm going to just put a to-do comment, and I'm going to have GPT take care of it. Okay. So you can see we're using GitHub in combination with GPT-4. All right, Control A, Control C. I'm going to say, consider the following scraper, web scraper code. I'm going to say, just act for now. Act means acknowledged. Cool. And in the past, I think it would say, maybe I should have said just say act for now. But I think in the past it would have just said act, but now it also echoed back what it thought that I'm doing. I frequently use GPT when I'm doing data modeling, makes it a breeze. Totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, so it seems there's some to-do comments in the code. Hey, look, it's anticipating where I'm going next. Okay, so what I would like to do is please, I don't need to say please, this is a waste of a token, unfortunately. Update the code so that it scrapes the workflow IDs from repurpose. Let me use the variable name from update the code so that it scrapes the workflow IDs from the workflow list URL. And we'll be a little bit more precise here. I'm going to inspect. I'm over here in Chrome. I thought ChatGPT is unlimited tokens. No, it is not unlimited tokens. All right, so we're looking around for the workflow ID. Here I see press 144073. I'm not sure if that's helpful. I can do this another way. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's in the view content button. Yeah, see, it's embedded in the view content button. Okay, update the code so that it scrapes workflow IDs from the HTML page, or from the web page at the workflow ID can be found on an anchor tag with the btn class, and it contains the text view content. Okay. Once the workflow data is collected, write that into a CSV called, or write that into a CSV located at workflow list CSV path. Justin says, oh, cool, development with Puppeteer. More of the web should be accessible headlessly. Agree, agree. To accomplish this, you'll need to add a new step in your main function that navigates to the workflow list URL. First, let's create a CSV writer at the top of your main function right after the should resume variable definition. Okay, so I see should resume is right here. N key, enter, Control V. Okay, Control S. Thanks for the likes. Hey, check out YouTube in my bio. You can see the full screen. Let me also now look at my YouTube chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't see anything in the YouTube chat. So this is part 4 of a multi-part stream series, and the playlist is saved on YouTube. So head over there. Have you tried AWS Code Whisperer? It works in the IDE itself and is pretty much GitHub Copilot for free. Code Whisperer is not on the same level as Copilot. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they have a free tier, but it's mid. Just one person's opinion. Then you can add the following steps before the while, right after the if else, where you define CSV writer. Okay, so let me get over here, and I'll do Control F, while. Okay, so that's the before the while, right after the if else, right after the if else. So I think that line 76 is the end of the if else. Well, it is for me because I can't afford Copilot. Yeah, hey, totally respect that. Totally respect that. We do what we can, right? Yeah, so this is the if else where I define that writer. So I'm going to enter twice and save this. Cool. So now we got the workflow IDs. Now update the code. Okay, first of all, let me stage this. You know what? Let's do one thing at a time. So let's make sure that this works. I got my environment variables. We got the Prisma schema over here. I'll go ahead and Prisma migrate dev. Okay. Blitz Prisma migrate dev. So we're going to create a database migration out of the schema update right here. Basically just adding Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and then making them unique. It's pissed because there's data in the database. That's okay. I'm fine to demolish it. Blitz Prisma DB push. We can just destroy it. What are you scraping? I'm scraping repurpose.io, which is a social media. It's a repurposing website. What that means is when I post to TikTok, it will take my TikTok video and send it to all of the short form video platforms, Insta, YouTube, even LinkedIn. So that's the idea. I want to have a single place, a single pane of glass where I can see the data for all of my results as a content creator so that I can make sure I'm making stuff that's consistently high quality. And then later, this high quality content will be fed into a textbook generator so I can make a course on learning how to code that is always up to date with my latest material that I publish on social. All right, cool. So it says database is good to go. I'm going to still blitz Prisma migrate dev. I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway because I'm expecting a migration file. Database is not empty. Is it DB migrate? Blitz Prisma migrate. I don't know. I think I have to manually force wipe my database and then it will work. I could do a migrate diff. Yeah, reset. So we can do this. Blitz Prisma migrate reset. And this will basically drop the whole database, but I'm okay with that. Thanks for the follow, Bruce. Are you sure you want to reset your database? All data will be lost. Yes, send it. Send it. And now we can migrate dev. What is going on here? The database schema is not empty. Read more about how to baseline an existing production database. You know what? I think Vercel is telling me this rather than Prisma. Does not apply to Mongo. I don't have Mongo. So Prisma DB pull. It wants me to do the diff, which is just like kind of annoying to me, but fine. Oh, if I can, yeah, if I can migrate diff without having to specify all the options, it's the options that are annoying. See, it wants me to do all the options from URL. See, now I have to like do my own migrations to apply your initial migrations. Blitz Prisma. Yeah, okay, we can migrate against empty. I think this is also not going to work. No such file or directory. So let's make a folder here. See, I did the initial Vercel PG. Let me delete that. Delete the migration lock toml. I'll make a new folder. I shouldn't have to be doing this manually. That's the thing. Migrations 0 init. Yeah, we can call it that. Fine. Migration.sql. I'm expecting it to write out a file, and if it wants me to actually make the physical file before it writes text in it, that's super dumb. Okay, I'll do it, but it's like super dumb. New file, migration.sql. Okay. Prisma, yeah, so mine's not called Prisma, it's called DB, so let's change that. DB migrations, DB schema. Okay, so that created the, that's so dumb. It worked. It wanted me to literally create the folder structure and the file, and then it would finally write into the file. Like, why couldn't you just make that for me? You could totally have made that for me. And now I have to get in the business of doing these diff migrations, which is super annoying. So let's blitz Prisma migrate reset. What can you do with HTML5? What are the benefits to learning it? You can build websites that allow your users to submit forms, and they're accessible, and they are SEO friendly. Are you sure you want to reset your database? Yes. Okay. Should tell me there's no changes to apply now. It doesn't tell me that. Okay. I don't know. We will go with it, but I'm not sure if it works. So this is feature unique social URL per platform. Insta, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Cool, so we'll commit that. Now separately, we are going to commit the changes from ChatGPT, which allow us to write the workflow CSV. Scrape and write it. So this is scrape workflow CSV. So let's try it out now. We're going to cd into the repurpose scraper and run yarn start. Yarn start in turn invokes node on the index file. Let me close the other files. So now we only have this index file open. And so this is what it's running. Basically this main function right here. This big old main function. It's too big. It's over 150 lines. So we're going to split this up, but I wanted to do one step at a time. Saved 7 workflow IDs. And I'll go ahead and kill the scraper. It's off to the races. So here's the workflow data. And we can see workflow ID. So it does work, but the problem is I don't know, that's the ID for which one. So let me update the scraper slightly. Conditional uniqueness, I wish this were a thing in Prisma. It's not, so I have to wait on this 6974. My TikTok URLs should be unique, but they are also nullable. Like I might have a TikTok video that I never sent to YouTube. So it would have a unique TikTok URL and it would have a null YouTube URL. The problem is I can't implement uniqueness and nullability together in Prisma because it considers multiple nulls to be duplicate. So conditional uniqueness would fix that. It would basically say unique if not null. It's just kind of a call out sort of thing. Hey, head over to my YouTube and you can see the full screen. We're streaming right now. Cool, so this is looking good. And what I want to do now is go over to ChatGPT and say, update the code so that the workflow CSV will write the workflow name associated to each row with its workflow ID. This must be how it feels for the non-English speakers in America. Why is that? What do you mean? Hate this migrations thing. I had to redo my Django project because migrations messed up. Yeah. And it's specifically, it depends where you're migrating to. So like migrating to Supabase, it does not complain in the same way. I think it was actually Vercel, not Prisma, complaining that way. I could be mistaken, but I think so. Okay, so it says update the CSV writer. So now we got 2 columns. It's going to have workflow ID, workflow name. Control F, looking for the word writer. Okay, this is the workflow CSV writer. And you can see I'm updating the header, which is an array of 1, and it will now be an array of 2. So it makes sense, right? So I'm moving kind of quickly, but as I go, I'm peer reviewing and I'm reviewing everything that GPT tells me. I'm not just trusting it. Are you a full stack dev? Yep. Learning though, thanks for the content. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Then adjust the scraping step like this. Here's the network idle, Control F, Control V. So I think this line is unchanged. And now we will update this. Why it is picking this workflow name is silly. So yeah, Good thing I'm peer reviewing it because that was silly. I shouldn't need to scrape as it is already given through the split environment variable, right? You're correct. You already have the workflow names in the environment variable. You don't need to scrape them for the purpose of the web page. So it's fixing itself now. How do I learn full stack? You pick one half of the stack, you learn it, and then you learn the other. I recommend people learn the front end first because the feedback loop is faster and more engaging. You get visual feedback. Visual feedback stimulates most learners and it improves motivation. You can also deploy a static site, which will allow you to get something for free using GitHub Pages that's open source, freely hosted, accessible by your friends and family. I think that's really good for motivation, as opposed to starting on the back end where you're building a microservice. Do you even know what a microservice does? Like, most people don't have the mental model for that. And if they do get the mental model, it's not really engaging for their local social network, because you tell, like, you know, your girlfriend that you made a microservice and she's like, I'm leaving you. No. They just don't, like, people just don't know what that is. But if you're like, hey, check out this website I designed, they can visit it and they're like, oh, cool. So that's my 2 cents. I say start on the front end and then learn the back end second. And I would specifically encourage you to start with just making with a blog. Just make a vanilla JS blog, then make a React blog, then make a Next.js blog. And by the time you get into Next.js territory, you're already full stack. And you can leave blogs and do something you're more interested in at that point. Tragic says, I appreciate the explanation. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Man, y'all are a great audience. We got a really kind audience today. I love that. Okay, so we're going to scrape the workflow IDs, map the href. Yeah, this is good. And then map it back to the workflow name. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So here I Control F, Control V, and I can see here's the workflow IDs bit. And I will copy this code and write over through the log statement. There is no log statement currently, so oh yeah, it is. It's right here, saved. Yeah. So I'm grabbing through line 84 and pasting through line 96. Let me save that. I'll go over to the JavaScript diff. Here's the git diff, and just double check what is the difference here. And it looks good to me. Looks good to me. Basically updated the comments in the log statements to reflect the fact that we are scraping workflow records as opposed to workflow IDs alone. Thought Not, thank you for the follow. Hey, quick reminder, you can go to YouTube or Twitch in my bio and see the full screen. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and unstage the workflow data CSV. I am going to, in fact, just entirely delete it. Open up the source control tab again. Start that scraper, baby. Kind Bastion followed the host. Thank you for the follow, Kind Bastion. If you're enjoying the video, tap the screen, give it some likes, and we can push this video out to other people and help more people learn to code. Whoa, that's super busted. Look at that. Error, error, error. Syntax error near unexpected token href. So I'm going to control click this, control F, control V. View episodes. That is, I believe, the wrong text. If we scroll up, href includes view episodes. Wow, has it really been doing that? That's okay. That's okay. That is okay. I take it back. I'm sorry. The href includes view episodes. And so if we look at this button, you can see that the href does include view episodes. And so it's splitting it on that and popping off the last index, which is, it gets you the ID. So that's just fine. How is this for learners? Yeah, this stream itself is not necessarily for learners, although feel free to drop a question and I can answer it. That's basically how it's for learners. But my content in general, like if you follow the page and you go to the actual page, a lot of the shorts and stuff, a lot of the videos I make, that's more so for learners. And also, check this out, latterly.io. I have an open source learning curriculum. So here you go, Latterly Slides on GitHub, Vanderveer/Latterly Slides. You can get to my GitHub through my bio and hit the curriculum button. And so this really is beginner friendly if you go through this. Okay, so what am I doing? I want to split out this href and the scraper was pissed at me. Why was it mad? Syntax error near unexpected token. Okay. A.href. We were not getting this last time, so we can look at the JavaScript diff. So previously, workflow IDs.map. Yeah, this is not even different, right? It's doing the same thing that it was doing previously. So why is it mad this time? That's kind of puzzling to me. I wonder if it like blocked my scraper from logging in. Here, let's try again. Yarn start. Definitely going to try the curriculum. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. Resuming scraping from page 5. Okay, so this is the issue. I don't want it to start resuming scraping yet. I want it to go get the workflow IDs. I think this is just the order. I think this is just an order of operations issue. Scrape workflow IDs. Let's scrape the workflow IDs before, let's create the workflow records before we get into the, yeah, you know what? I'm going to ask GPT to do this. So let's go over here. Please simplify, and I just say please out of habit, but I really don't need to. It's just a waste of tokens. Simplify the main function by collecting the workflow scraping and the social media content. I need to name them separately, right? Let's start by creating the definition. There are two entities being scraped in this script. Workflow records and social media content records. Please simplify the main function so that it calls one function for each entity to be scraped. Make sure that workflow records are scraped first. Bro, please use ChatGPT dark mode. All right, let's see if I have it. Theme, dark. Let's go. I didn't even know they had that. Yo, this is looking kind of sexy, huh? All right. I'm here for it. Thanks, Bingo. What line number is the error from? I don't know. I'll double check if it happens again, but if it didn't seem to happen the second time, right? Sure, you can separate the code for scraping each type of record into its own function. This will make the main function much simpler and easier to understand. Scrape workflow records. Look at that, we love it. Appreciate you. Hey, you're very welcome and I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Control C. Paste it up there. Okay. The current main function I'll just delete the whole thing. Bye. Gonna miss ya. Control C, come over here. Control V. All right. Please, show the literal code that will replace the comment. What are you doing makes me feel overwhelmed. Sorry, Anthony, I'm not trying to make you feel overwhelmed. Do you have any cybersecurity experience? Any, yes, but like not a lot. I bet you're using GitHub Copilot. Yes, I am. Look at this, bro apologized for the confusion. I wasn't confused, man. I just didn't want to have to go look up the answer. Ooh, okay. Actually, this is a great opportunity for me to throw one more wrench in it. I want it to start from the last page. Because this is just something that repurpose.io does, is they have their posts in reverse chronological order and they're not sortable. Last I checked. I mean, unless it's under settings or something. So the ones up here are like the newest, and I want it to go to the last page and work its way to the front. And the reason for that is so that I can improve caching with this feature called repurpose page offset. Repurpose page offset. Alter this function so that instead of traversing from page 1 to n, it traverses in reverse order it traverses in reverse order. Because we don't know the number of pages ahead of time, it will need to visit page 1, then find the count of pages, then visit page N, then work backwards again towards page 1. Notice how I'm basically telling it the strategy and then it's giving me the low-level syntax. So I still need to very much be aware of what's going on, right? So when it gets done doing this, I'm going to ask it to further simplify the code by splitting this into multiple functions. You know what? I think I want it to when it gets the workflow records, I want it to go ahead and get the number of pages at that time. That'll make this process smoother. I will go ahead and take this code, but I really don't want to keep it like this. So here's the workflow records. Let me get this. Scrape workflow records. Let's update the following function so that after collecting the current workflow data, we click the view content link in order to capture the total pages count for a workflow. This way, we don't need to this way, we can simplify our logic later because we already know the total page count in a workflow ahead of time. Let's see if we can do that from memory or if I need to provide the what language is this? We're working in TypeScript today. Is this for a class you're taking? No. I've been coding for like 10 years professionally. So I'd like to say that I haven't been in school for 10 years, but I have a PhD in economics. So I was in school for a long time. I got my PhD, 3 years ago? Free Code Camp and Codecademy are goated, for real, agree. Sorry, I said the stuff he doing isn't for beginners. Yeah, no, that's true. How can I start learning to code? I agree, Free Code Camp and Codecademy, or a college degree or a boot camp. But in terms of online courses, Free Code Camp and Codecademy. Let me play devil's advocate for a minute. Those are considered MOOCs, massive online courses, and the completion rate for those is in the single digits. So I taught myself to code with Codecademy. I think it's great, but most people are not going to be able to take Codecademy and then, say, land a job after that. So it's a good first step, but don't be surprised if you take Codecademy and then need to also attend a coding bootcamp after that. It would not be surprising at all. Okay, so let's copy this again, and we're doing small testable increments. That's one of the ways that we're making sure that it's giving us a quality output. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to look at this JavaScript diff and look at what it's asking to do. So it's going to go to the workflow list URL. This is bad. This is bad. Oh, because I changed the, yeah, because I split the function. Where is the workflow list URL? Control C, Control F, Control V. It's not provided anywhere. Control Z, workflow list URL. Workflow list URL. Yeah, so it just needs to declare it basically. So it's not like it's far off, but it is a mistake for sure. Make sure to declare. Make sure to declare. That was entirely unhelpful. Okay, I might have pushed it out of token memory limit. It might have started to forget things. Because this, like, it says replace this with your actual URL. Well, I gave it the actual URL. So I will use it now, but I'm taking that as a signal that basically its brain is getting tired. It doesn't make declarations properly. It usually does, but it always, you know, it occasionally doesn't. And when it doesn't, there are often reasons for it. So there is a bit of random variation, but in this case, I think it's evident that it is being pushed out of token memory limit. Okay, so we get the workflow list URL, we go through the workflows, navigate to each workflow page and get the total number of pages. For record of workflow records, it'll go to page 1 hard-coded, and then it will calculate the total pages. So this is looking good, and it's updating by reference. It's updating the record by reference, and then it's writing them out. Cool. So I'm going to just comment this second thing where it goes to scrape the social media records. So it should just scrape the workflow records for now. I also don't want it to address all workflow records. Currently, it's getting all workflow records on the page. I only want it to get those within this environment variable. So let me mention that to ChatGPT. Update the code so that it does not collect all workflow records, but instead it only writes records based on only writes records with a workflow name that is a substring of this. If you prefer, you can split by comma, or you can use it as a string literal. The code will split into a variable by commas, then you can use the includes method. Cool. Eganor says, hey, what's going on? Thanks for being here. Quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go to YouTube or Twitch in my bio and see the full screen. Okay, so let's update this scrape workflow records method. And then we will test and commit. We've made quite a few changes at this point. We will test and commit shortly. Boom, Control V. We also want to use a pause duration. And here we can just await standard pause, or like here, awaits pause between, or pause, what is this, before navigation. Pause before navigation. Control C, Control A, left arrow. Here I will async const grab this, Control X, Control S, Control click into the braces, Control F. Sheik says, here from TikTok. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Misspelled async because I'm an idiot. Async. Oh no, I didn't misspell it. I just incorrectly ordered it. Const pause before navigation is an async method. Is how you can read that. Pause before navigation is the equal sign in this context. It can be read as the word is. Pause before navigation is an async function, an async method. My boy, why are you scraping with a WebDriver? That's because it's the right thing to do. I mean, how are you going to scrape without it? I got to be able to log in. I think that's probably the part that you're missing. I need a stateful client that can hold a Laravel session. That's why I'm not able to use Beautiful Soup or Assembler right now. Shake says, would it be wise to go to a boot camp after getting an associate degree in CS? The answer is, in many cases, yes, but not in all cases. And certainly not all boot camps. You need to make sure that you pick a high prestige coding boot camp. So go to course report, make sure you want to browse all schools. You want a rating of 4.25 or higher and a minimum of 400 reviews. You want to sort by most reviewed, not best reviewed. If you sort by best reviewed, you're going to find a school that has 1 rating and 5 stars. You don't want that. You would much rather have the best school in the world, the Wagon, which is 497 with thousands of reviews. Yeah, cookie jar is not going to solve it. This is a Laravel session. A Laravel session. I think you're missing it again. So it's a little bit more advanced than your understanding is the issue. So if you look at my headers, there's no deterministic way for me to collect the headers. Oh, I forgot which response those headers are on. I think it's the one where I log in. Anyway, I went through this like 2 streams ago. So we already tried Beautiful Soup and stuff. And we tried doing this in Python, and then you ended up embedding JavaScript into your Python, and it was really goofy. So that's why we're going with Puppeteer and TypeScript now. Sheik says, course report, got it, thanks. Yep, nailed it. Hey, you can also check out my bio if you want a one-on-one call for more personalized advice, because I can give you the generic advice, but really you should be considering your own personal factors for basically everything. Okay, so we do this pause, which is like it has some entropy in it, so that it kind of mimics human behavior, basically. We do this pause, and I also want to introduce that pause between these workflow navigations. So let record of workflow records page go to. We update that, and then yeah, right here basically, before it loops. What are you scraping? Repurpose.io, which is a site where I post to one social media channel like TikTok, and it will propagate the video to other channels like Instagram, YouTube, and so forth. And so I don't want to have to look at metrics for all these different websites. I want to be able to go to one website and look at my social media content performance across the board. So that's the purpose of this. Cool, so let's pause right now and see if this part works. So this should produce the workflow CSV. Yeah, it's just not defined. Okay. I think GPT was assuming that I put this function inside of some context rather than in the top level. So, yeah, I don't know. Workflow list URL, workflow list CSV path. I actually want to keep these alphabetical, so I'll put the CSV path first. They don't have an API, I take it. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, I'd much rather use an API if they had one. That's a cool project. Thank you so much. CSV path is not defined. Control C, Control F, Control V. Here's the CSV writer. Control C, Control F, Control V. Why does it care? Why does it care that CSV path is not defined? Like, I mean, I can define it, but also it shouldn't care. Because I'm not using that right now. Okay. Is there a specific bootcamp that you recommend? Sorry for constantly asking questions while you are working on your project. Please do ask the questions. I enjoy the questions. And the answer is that last time I checked, there are two. One is called Springboard and one is called Coder Foundry. And the reason for that is they both have job guarantees, which makes the risk-adjusted return on investment fantastic. Also, I think their prices were sort of middle of the road. They weren't cheap and they weren't expensive, but it's important to note that they weren't overwhelmingly expensive. And they both meet the criteria for bootcamp prestige, which means on course report 4.25 or higher rating with a minimum of 400 reviews. So that is why I prefer those two. Okay, so this didn't work. I mean, it printed a file, but it didn't have the data that we want. So here's the workflow CSV writer, workflow, click this, and now it comes in as CSV writer. Okay. So there is CSV writer. I don't know why this is being passed in. Yeah, let me ask GPT. In the given context, passing as an argument gives you the flexibility and and control over. There can be several reasons for this design choice. So do I want to use the CSV writer? I really don't. It's easier to unit test functions that don't have side effects. If scrape workflow records created its own CSV writer, that would be a side effect. Oh, that's actually a really interesting point. I actually respect that point. Flexibility if you ever decide how to change your CSV writer. All right. I guess I don't care. I guess that's fine. Is there any remote software job any good via Udemy? Yeah, Udemy is pretty good. Is there any remote software developer job in your country? There are many remote software developers in my country, but I can't just wave a wand and give you one of those jobs, unfortunately. Yeah, as much as I'd like to help you, I've tried dealing with visa stuff, and I don't know. I'm just not good at it, I guess. I would say, and also it depends like where you are in your background. So I've never had success facilitating a work visa, unfortunately. Okay, so we scrape workflow records. Page is getting passed in. Where's page defined? This is the browser page. That's fine. Page go to workflow list URL. That's correct. Here are the workflow records. So let me use a debugger. Is this encapsulated in an evaluate statement? So this is between evaluations. So maybe I can put a debugger here. So we are in TypeScript, so the keyword is debugger. What are we making? You can give me a company site that are hiring. No, just check out Indeed.com or LinkedIn Jobs. The debugger didn't catch, but that's actually on me because I did not run the VS Code debugger. So let me go over here. And you can see there's the debug button. It's embedded in the IDE. Now we'll debug start. TypeScript is dope. Totally agree. Thanks for the follow, Donnie. Glad you're here. Debugger attached. Got him. Notice that the bar at the bottom turns orange. We're over 2,000 likes. Y'all are awesome. I just realized that. Hey, quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch and see the whole screen. I'm trying to get more followers on my YouTube. I want to get over to 1,000. They can make me a partner. This is part 4 in a series of streams. And the playlist of those streams is going to be over there on YouTube. Okay, so the debugger caught, right? So let's go over to the debug console. And now I can investigate the state of the application. I mean, whenever you're in a node process, you can always check out the process variable itself, which is the high order global. This is the high order global in a node process. Kind of like window on the front end. Like everything's under window, right? You can see there's my node version, my architecture, I'm on Windows, all that's over here. I actually care about this variable though, workflow records. Yeah, so there's the issue. I have 0 workflow records. What about my workflow names? Yep, and so we can immediately see the issue. So workflow records is 0 because these substrings, excuse me, these substrings parsed incorrectly. So let's go over Yeah, I don't want to show my env file. I'll show you I'll show you this file. I should not have the double quotes. That's the problem. It's a quote and then a double quote. That's like the whole problem. We can immediately see. So that's not going to map to anything. We can go ahead and confirm this, even though like I'm already pretty confident. Workflow names. Actually, we cannot. So workflow records was replaced. And so this is why it's actually good to have immutable variables to facilitate debugging. If anyone ever tells you that immutable variables facilitate debugging, this is a perfect case of what they're talking about. Whatever was passed to the filter, I have no record of it now because it was updated in place. And so what I would like to do is call this, so we can, next time around we can fix it and call this filtered workflow records. And you see now that we are distinguishing between workflow records and filtered workflow records. And then I can make this a const so it's immutable. And next time around, I would be able to say, hey, what were these workflow records that you filtered? Right? But as it stands, I cannot do that. Why are you using let instead of const? Like where? Right here? Oh, are you talking about right here? You could use const here. The reason, let's see, the reason that let is being used here, I believe, is because record is being updated. Now here's the thing. If I use the word const, I can still update record in place. But there are a bunch of developers out there that think that it is a useful soft indicator that indicates developer intent. So let me know if that makes sense to you. Basically, like technically it could go either way, but some developers think that like if you're updating it, you should use let, basically, even though that's not technically required, but it indicates developer intent. I don't really think that I'm on board with that actually though, so I'll flip it over to const. But that could explain why GPT did it that way. Okay, so I think we're good. I'll disconnect the debugger. I'm going to take this briefly off screen so that I can update my environment file. And yeah, basically here, I'll just copy the one line. But basically, I have double quotes over there. So you can see this is how it looked. This is how it looked on my non-template env file. Shouldn't use const in for makes no sense. The reason it makes sense is because it is a constant reference. So it technically is best described as a const. Okay, so should I leave the debugger or not? Basically, the only thing I'm concerned about is these edge double quotes on the far left and the far right. Sheik says, can you please answer my question when you get a chance? Where do you get your project ideas? I am trying to start something on my own. C++ is the language I know, but I'm still not a professional. I get ideas for projects when I do things that I need, when I find that there is a tool I need that's not available. So I am scraping repurpose.io because I asked them for this data and they said like, we don't have a way to export it right now. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go scrape it. In principle, and actually I gave them a feature request and they might be implementing it. And I hope that they do implement it soon where I can just download the CSV. That would be much better. So basically, I get project ideas when there's a tool I need to build. But don't put a bunch of pressure on yourself about that. It's not a big deal. If you do like a cookie cutter project, like a blog, that's totally fine. So if you have like no special problem to solve, just make a blog. When I need that, when I need, I do that. That's what you sound like. I mean, pretty much. When I need that, I do what I need. Yeah. How do you look for work in coding as a junior coder? The way that you look for coding as a junior coder is the same way you look as a senior. So you need to implement social networking, optimize your resume, optimize your LinkedIn. I would encourage you to check out LinkedIn jobs, Indeed.com. And then there are some other platforms that you can use, like Hired.com is a good one. That's more, I think, mid-level than a junior tool, but you can check it out. You can also work with a third-party agency recruiter like Tech Systems if you're having a hard time as a junior. Later in your career, you really may not need to do that, but as a junior, it can be hugely beneficial. Victory for Palladium, thank you for being a good sport. Very welcome. Yeah, it's all fun. Thanks for being here. Zunair says ZipRecruiter. I have not had success with ZipRecruiter, but I mean, check it out. You can time box it, right? Spend an hour or two with it. If it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, move on. Victory for Phil says LinkedIn, GitHub, resume tuning per role is a solid method. I agree. I agree. Okay. Yeah, and again, if you need help with this, check out my bio. So one of the things that people pay me for is helping them on the job search. She says, where can I learn more about scraping data from the internet using programming? Thank you. Google. Start with Google and also check out ChatGPT. This is like a very common practice. It's not really a niche subject. Simon, what are you doing? We're building a social media quality analysis platform, basically. Okay, so all I'm going to do is, before I split it here, I'm going to replace double quotes with nothing. I'm going to replace double quote with nothing. And then I think it should work. So let me get rid of this debugger statement. Control-Shift-P, down, up, format document, Control-S. And we'll go back over to the terminal tab, up arrow, enter. Is this React? In front of us currently is not React. This is just a JS file. It's just a script. But my GUI is React, yes. Oh, it says debugger attached. I'm going to Control-C on that. I did not want to spin up a debugger, actually. Forgot I had a debugger terminal running. Thanks for the follow. Oh, multiple follows. Awesome. And some likes. Y'all are great. Quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch and see the full screen. Okay, so we dropped a workflow list. Bummer, it's empty again. It's empty again. I'm going to right-click, close others. And I guess we need to debug again, don't we? So I'll put the debugger right back where it was, and we'll repeat the same process. Guess and check is a key developer skill. Guess and check is a key developer skill. You won't see that a lot on the social media videos, do you? But making a small tweak, doing the same task over and over with one small tweak at a time is like a lot of your life as a programmer. Okay, the debugger caught. So let's go over the console here. Let's check out the workflow names, Control-C on that. And this time, it does appear to have split the way that I wanted it to. Okay. So Control C on the workflow records, Control V there. And now this time we do have records. And we can see that the workflow names are incorrect. So this is the issue. And the IDs are incorrect. Bummer, they're both incorrect. They're both incorrect. Create press. Oh, so it's assuming that, it's doing that stupid thing where it assumes that the button text is what the workflow name is. So you're checking data in those variables by using the debugger. That's exactly correct. That's what a debugger is for. But can you figure out why my mom left? I don't know. Talk to your dad. Or introduce me maybe, and I'll have a chat with her. Can you make a dark web scraper? I can. How much are you paying me? Artificial intelligence is going to replace programmers eventually, says Jason on vacation. Thanks, Jason. All right, thanks for the follows. Brody and Super Mad Man, thanks for the follows. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do, the IDs are looking good. The reason that the CSV is being written empty is because the workflow names are getting filtered because these are incorrect values. And actually, we should not be scraping the workflow name at all. The workflow name is provided to. The workflow name is provided to. Yeah, so there's two ways to solve this problem. First is I can look at the workflow names ahead of time and only get those rows that include the workflow name. Which is really, that's going to be the more efficient way to do this. The alternative is I can figure out the parsing strategy for the workflow name. Because they all have one. It's here on the left over here. You can see it. So do I want to find the text and then go up? Like, it really doesn't matter, actually. It really doesn't matter. I need to locate the ancestor node regardless. Yeah, so I might as well do it. I might as well do it. Press item. These are press items. So workflow name. So here we are. I think I'll just probably do this by hand. So workflow records, we're going to evaluate. I don't want to evaluate the buttons. I want to evaluate press items. So this will be rows. Is this a TR? Is this a TR? It is. It is. So thanks, GitHub Copilot. Query selector all, and I can do tr dot press item. Yeah, no, let's go right for the jugular. Let's go right for the jugular. So here I will say workflow divs equals array from document query selector all div dot workflow name. And I think that's right. So let me control shift end, control C. I'm going to go over here to the console, control V, enter, and we can see we have this node list. And when I hover over the node list, it is the items that I care about. I can do array from Okay, now I have an array, and I can say dot map L dot inner text. Okay, and now I have these. So these are what I'm going to check. What do you recommend most for practicing corporate coding? Get a job. That's how you practice corporate coding. Yeah, and you don't need to learn quote unquote corporate coding before getting a job. Just get the job and you'll learn corporate coding after you get the job. To land the job, you should work on projects as well as data structures and algorithms. Chi-Chi says, thanks. Very welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And thanks for the question. Okay, so we have all of these workflow divs. I don't want all of the workflow divs. Let's see. So I'm going to go for these rows, query selector all, and then we are going to dot filter. So it all comes down to how we filter these things. So we're going to filter a L row. L is a Hungarian idiom. It's a Hungarian idiom. Man, if your college professor doesn't give you a 200 on your next exam for saying Hungarian idiom. Hungarian notation is a variable naming pattern. It has, it's not like the Hungarian language. And an idiom just means a common pattern with a implied meaning. So we use the prefix L to indicate an HTML element. Poppy Sensei said, what's up? Oh, golly. The real Poppy Sensei? It's been a long time. Is it Angular? Is it C++? No, it's TypeScript. Da, 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 da. Okay, so we're going to filter rows. Which rows are we going to retain? We are going to retain those rows such that they have a workflow name element whose text matches what we care about. So we are within the filter. We're sub-filtering the row element. We're looking at the workflow name element. We're going to map the inner text. Okay, map the inner text. And this will give us text. And then I want to say inner text in. Can I say in? I can do that in Python. I forget if I can do that in TypeScript. I think I should use includes. And what is this operand which I'm interrogating for inclusion? That is the these workflow names down here. So I need to pick these up ahead of time. By the way, let me go ahead and drop my debugger. And so you see filter workflow records based on repurposed workflow names. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to do that anymore because we're doing that all in one move. It's a little bit of a complicated move, but at least we get to do it in one move. These workflow names, by the way, can be parsed out way up here. LMN, we'll keep it alphabetical. And so then we have workflow names. So I'm not crazy about this block of code. It looks a bit ugly for my taste. But you can see what it does is that it ends up getting only the rows who have a workflow name that we care about. And we can verify this quickly. So let me grab this and I will pick, let me just do TikTok to Twitter. So I should get one result when I do this. So I'm going to say const workflow names equals TikTok to Twitter. I'm just going to say that. Query selector dot map is not a function. Right, good. I need to do array.from. Alternatively, I could destructure a list, but yeah, this works. So yeah, and you see, no, this is giving me all of the, this is giving me all of them. Do you have videos on all high order functions? I do not have a video on all high order functions. There are an infinite number of high order functions. Is it Angular? Yeah, bro. For some reason, it doesn't say my name. Yeah, I don't know why that is, man, but good to see you. Destructure and bind is the move here. Yeah, there's no need to bind. There's no need to bind. I could destructure it, but actually, I think array from is a little more readable. So, I mean, I could go either way. I mean, if you submit me a pull request that uses destructuring, I'll approve it. But I'm going to go ahead and keep the from just because it's a little more readable. So workflow names dot includes L inner text. This is problematic for some reason. So let me just get this snippet. Map L to L.innerText. Unexpected token. L row is not defined. L row. I can just use document. So document query selector div workflow name. It's saying that there are none. Okay, is that a bad selector? Div workflow name. Oh, I need to use all. Okay, I need to use all. That's on me. Okay, so now I got these. Query selector all, workflow name. And yeah, that works. So now, workflow names dot includes. So they're all false. What's workflow names? Yeah. Okay. I wrote this incorrectly. TikTok to Twitter. Workflow names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That third from last should be there, right? TikTok to Twitter. I'm missing something really basic. This is a bummer. I'm going to copy this. I think I just misspelled. Oh my good gracious. Yep. You found it, Justin. It's that tie. It's that misspelling word. Bummer. Okay. So let's say workflow, and it's not going to let me do it now. TikTok. Oh, did that let me do it? Let's see. TikTok. It worked this time. Okay. False, 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 false. True. Okay. And I need to go all the way up till we were using L row. So we get this press item, filter. There is the row, and then L row. Yeah, so I think I need one of these. Right, please go dark. Yeah, how do I do that on Chrome? Uh, System preference. Okay, I mean it got the dev tools for whatever that's worth, but now it's just mixed. I don't know if that's better. Hey, quick reminder, if you're over there on TikTok, you can check out YouTube or Twitch live streaming, and you can see the full screen. Okay, so currently we are diving into a row, getting the workflow name, and then map L workflow names dot includes. I think I don't need to map. I think I don't need to map. So I can say L from, so there's only going to be one of these. Query selector. There's only going to be one workflow name per row. So I can simply say query selector dot enter text. And I can say workflow names includes. So I think this is much simpler. And then I get one. That's much, much, much better. Okay, great. And so this is another advantage of scraping in TypeScript and JavaScript is I can work with the dev console, and I wouldn't be able to do that in Python, right? Okay, so we've simplified this. Going to add a few lines here just so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so rows is now this thing instead of this thing. Still not beautiful, but better. So now we have these rows. We don't need the workflow divs anymore. We don't need this anymore. So now we have these rows. Click the 3 dots up. I'm not sure what you mean. Wow, Twitch is way better. Yeah, right? Much better I can see now. Awesome, great, love it. Thanks for being here, y'all. Hey, if you're liking the video, throw a like on it, or if you're on a different channel, then send it to your cousin or whatever. And that way we can have more people learning to code. Okay, so for each of these rows, there is exactly one workflow name and one ID. So this is using a button mapping pattern, but I think we use a row mapping pattern. So here we go, rows.map. And so within the row, it's true that I want to find a button and a workflow ID. So the workflow ID will be using a button. And so here I can change this to say row query selector all. Okay, so query selector all. I don't know, is there only one per row? So here's an A button. A. Nope, there's another, well, is that an anchor? Yeah, there are multiple anchor buttons. So how do I uniquely identify this one? It is that anchor button which has text. So we need to select it by text rather than replacing it. And then the workflow name is going to be this This one. Okay. So we get the row, we get the workflow name. That's looking good. Is JavaScript and TypeScript the same? Yes and no. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. That means all valid JavaScript is valid TypeScript, but the inverse is not true. PG Amic, how do we say that? What are we trying to do here? Joined late. We are creating a social quality analysis platform. So when I post a video on TikTok and then it gets repurposed over to YouTube and Twitch using repurpose.io. So I send it to TikTok and it ends up on all these places. I don't want to go chase down my analytic data on all these places. I want to be able to look in one place and see how the video performed across the board. So that's what we're doing. And it's an open source project. It's called redyellowgreen. Here's the GitHub. So yeah, feel free to throw me a pull request. It's open in production. You can go check this out. You can go sign up if you want to. Finally a live of someone who's not a damn beginner. Oh, that's funny. It's a vibe though. A lot of seniors like me just, they're like drinking mojitos and shit. Like they don't care to do side projects anymore, you know? But there's a few of us who are really in it for the, because we're kind of like obsessed with it instead of just in it for the money. Although kind of in it for both, but anyway. Kevin, thanks for the follow. All right, we got 10 minutes left, y'all. So here are rows. We get the rows, and then we get the workflow name. This is the one that's wrong currently. It's the workflow ID. So I want to query selector all button. href split and pop. This doesn't work. Okay. So I need to ensure that it's valid, basically. So query selector all buttons. There is only going to be one of these. I just need to filter on it, that's all. There's only going to be one per row that has the text. So if you look at this this row, there's only one per row that has the text view content. So that's what I need to filter on. How long did this took for you to make this project? I've been working on this for like 5 or 6 hours at this point, I guess. So this is my 4th stream. So I think it's around there. But I mean, I have a lot of experience, right? So it's not like some junior with doing 5 or 6 hours would be here at this point. Okay, so we get all of the buttons, and then we want to filter L button such that L button dot inner text, and it wants to go for view. Ooh, and then it picks the 0. You know what? I think I could say first. Is first a thing? Let me do this. -1, 0, 3, and see if I have first. See if I have find. L, or like say find. Yep. Okay, so I could use find instead of filtering and picking the 0. So I'll say find the button that has text view content. And we'll do a 2 lowercase just to make it a little bit more robust. Thanks for the follows. Why don't you add a data attribute and avoid all this querying and searching? Because I do not control the server under analysis. I do not control this markup. This is not my website. I'm scraping a different person's website. Yeah, if I controlled the thing, I would just do a SQL query, right? I wouldn't need to do scraping at all because I would just have the data in the database. Okay, so we find the button that has this text. And then we href split and pop. Cool, that should work. All right, let's run our scraper. Oh, this is that debugger again. Let me get out of there, sorry about that. What data are you scraping? Social media data. So when I post a TikTok video, currently I'm just scraping the title of the video and the URL for the video, but in the future I will do views and likes and stuff like that too. Grandpa Butt Dog in the house. One of the all-time goats in the audience. Glad to see you here. Mark, thank you for the follow. Michelle, thanks for the follow. Indie for me, thank you for the follow. Hip hop air horn. I need to get one. Yeah. If I get an air horn, I'll do that. Alex says hi. What up, Alex? Thanks for being here. Okay, workflow names is not defined. Control F, Control V. It is defined though. It is defined though. It's defined right here. So there is a scoping issue. Ah, that's right. Okay, because workflow names is inside of this browser page, basically. Yeah, that's no problem. I can calculate it just in time. No bigs. And then workflow records. What are we even doing with workflow records? Yeah, this is already filtered. This is already filtered, so we'll just use it right here and right here. Turn down for what? JIT, baby, JIT. How about multiple social media sites? What do you mean by that question? Can you add more? I'm already doing Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube and Twitter. So I'm already doing social media sites. If you mean like different accounts, I don't support that currently. You would need to like make one account. Like for each of your sort of like, if you have like 5 TikToks, then you would need to make 5 of these red, yellow, green accounts. Grandpa Butt Dog says, and MySpace. Yeah, you know, we'll put it in the backlog. We'll put it in the backlog where it will go to die. Bryce, thank you for the follow. Trigger uncaught exception. Process is not defined. Right, because at this juncture, we are in a browser now. So I need to pass it actually. So let me throw it back up here. And we'll ask GPT, how can I pass a variable from process I'll just be more specific. It's aware of this variable over here, repurpose workflow names. How can I pass from the Node.js process.env context into the Puppeteer page context? Are you scraping data from each social media site or from a third-party central space? Oh, great question. The answer is from a third-party central space, specifically repurpose.io. Really, really good question. Thanks for being here. Okay. Oh, it's just like that. Great. Just like that. So I have these workflow names. So I'll use the underscore syntax to indicate privation, to indicate that it's a private variable. So this is inside of the page closure, and then it appears that I just pass it in just like that, if I'm not mistaken. One more time. Wow, thanks for the follows. Polly, Apple user, Yarenfuta, Tapatse. Thanks for being here, y'all. Over 100 people. Hey, if you're on the TikTok, you can go to Twitch or YouTube in my bio and see the full screen. See a lot more with a lot better quality. Something's going on. Something's working. What's it doing over there? Maybe I should add like a progress sort of thing. Oh, bummer, bummer, bummer. Robbie says, did you see my comment? I think I might have missed it, Robbie. Let me take a look. I do not see a comment, Robbie. Feel free to drop another one. What's happening here? We are building a social media quality analysis platform. So we're doing some data scraping, data engineering. What are we making, my boy? What's up, Chris? So repurpose.io, a lot of social media content creators use this thing. So I can post to TikTok and then it goes in a bunch of other places. And I want to be able to go to one website and get my performance data across all of the sites. So that's what we're making. Grandpa Butt Dog says, what else are you on right now? Almost everyone's on my TikTok. That's where like all of my audience is. So I have like over 150 people on the TikTok. And then I have like 5 people between Twitch and YouTube and I don't know, all the other places that are watching. Maybe someone's on Twitter. I don't know. Hey, W in the chat if you're on Twitter, I guess. All right. Graduated with a CS degree, but can't find a job. Help. Check out the bio. Book a call. Okay, pause before navigation. I want to add a log message. So let's add a console.log. Oh, Grandpa Butt Dog says he's hiring if you're in Tennessee. Is that one, RTO? Are they in the office? Let me add a console.log statement. Remote, but like 99% remote. Gotcha. Cool, cool. So I'm going to say console.log. Look at that. Copilot helped me out. Done scraping. This will give me the workflow name, but I want the count. Bam. Cool, let's try it again. Let me see if I got anything from the workflow list. Nope, still got nothing out of the workflow list. He's in Maryland. Bummer, bummer. Check the link in my bio, see if I can help you out. Keyboard, this is a Razer. You can get one of these at Best Buy. Let's check it out for a few seconds, watch the color change. Boop, 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 boop. I had a Razer telephone back in the day. Yep, yep, good stuff. So this is part 4 in a stream series working on the open source project redyellowgreen. Here's the GitHub page. Contributions welcome. Prince Safi says, hi. What's up, Prince Safi? If I book a call, what does the coaching cover? So the intro call is I'm just giving you advice. It's 30 minutes, it's free, and it's like, should you get a college degree? Should you go to a coding boot camp? Should you try an online course, self-taught, or a mentorship apprenticeship program? That's what we walk through in that one. If you end up doing the paid thing where I'm actually teaching you, then it's like I'm teaching you. And what it covers is you learn and you get a job. Like that's what it covers. Okay. Error, error, error. Yep, so this is not working. Okay, so what's going on here? We can do a process of elimination approach. I will comment this entire workflow records block. I'm going to comment the entire block here. You know what? I'm going to comment the for loop right here. So this for loop is clicking a bunch of pages, and we're going to not do that. So let's see if we can get through it now. Jerry-O, I had a Python soup scraper for going for the past 2 days for a customer. I had someone recently recommend trying JS Puppeteer. Cool to see it in action. Hey, thanks for being here. Yep, yeah, I'm a fan of it. All right, so this worked. You see this? We got the workflow name and the workflow ID. I might actually pause the stream basically here because we've been taking a long time. But the issue is, by process of elimination, we determined that the issue is in this code block. Do you see how we're using a process of elimination based debugging and troubleshooting strategy? Oh, Keithan says he finished coding Dojo in June. Congrats, congrats. We love that. Thanks for the follows. Cut the problem in half forever until you find it. Bisection. Bisection. We love bisection. Cool. So I will try doing one iteration instead of going through the whole loop. So I'm going to change this from workflow records to definitely not workflow records. And definitely not workflow records is an array with one element, which is the first element of workflow records. And so what's the point of this? This is actually a troubleshooting strategy, believe it or not. We're taking an O of n problem and reducing it to an O of 1 problem. That's the idea here. Let's go. And I'll put it to do, in case I wrap up so I don't forget. To do, remove this line. Sure, that works. Java. This is not Java. This is JavaScript. Oh, okay. Y'all are talking to each other in the chat. Sorry. Please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. Anthony, thank you for the follow. If you're over there on TikTok, check out my bio. I have a Twitch. I have a YouTube. Okay, so this failed out. So we reproduced the failure is not a side effect of iteration. The failure is like even on one pass, we're failing. Workflow ID. It's got to be this bad boy, right? It's got to be this bad boy. Here, yeah. We're going to continue using process of elimination. Basically, I'm commenting a smaller chunk, and so that we can prove that we basically proved that the for syntax itself is not the issue. And now we're going to eliminate these two. Page is not defined. Page, page, page. 6111, here is 61. Where's the 11? Oh no. This is like that meme where it's like the debugger's like, line 50 is erroring. There's like no line 50. Saying page is the problem. I've seen nasty stuff like to do all lowercase and a dash. Ew, it's cringy. Sublime followed the host. Whoa, like the band? If that's the real band, send me tickets. I will I'll give you a bear hug. Sublime dead? Bro, are you trolling? What do you mean? Like they broke up or like one of them actually died? Because those are very different situations. Oh no, that is the problem. All right, y'all. Nobody spotted it, so we all lose points. The main singer died famously years ago. No, crap. I did not know that. I just thought they broke up. All right, none of us spotted it, so we collectively lose points. You see, this is the page wait for timeout. This is the issue. Okay, let's run it again. Run it back, Turbo. Sublime says, I'm back from the dead, guys, no worries. All right, chill. Cool, bro. Good to see you here. It's all good, y'all. Done scraping workflow 1 of 4. Okay, so we got this console log message. Let's go ahead and uncomment. I think we demonstrated the locus of error already. Still, we can take it incrementally. I could be hasty and remove this abstraction, but we'll do one step at a time. Yeah, the music video for Santeria in honor of his death. Oh. I'm going to have to go back and watch that music video. I don't think I've seen the music video. Over 3,000 likes. You know what? I like y'all more than 3,000 points of liking you. So the feeling is mutual. Dude, how much they charge for a coding class? I mean, it depends, like, who is they? Yeah, you can pay as little as, like, there's some free courses, and then you can pay as much as, like, silly money, depending where you go. Okay, so that did create an issue. Bummerville. Still, I think I can remove this abstraction. And here, let me comment these two again, and we should see a series of logs. And I might just wrap up with a to-do fix below. And we can also throw this one over to ChatGPT. See if that smarty pants can figure it out. Let's do a new chat, GPT-4. Consider the below web scraper code. All right, so we got the logs as expected. I'll say I receive attributable to the code block commented and saying to do fix below. Fix the code. I learned BASIC in Java in 2003 from books. I was 11. Nice job, Jeff. You're the coolest person in the world. I gave my wife the Sublime drummer drumsticks I snatched off the stage while working crew. Sheesh. Jeff is wild, y'all. Go give Jeff a follow. Thanks for being here, Jeff. User 827-410-4147-664. Thanks for the follow. The timeout error is thrown when Puppeteer can't navigate. Yeah, and the page is long-running persistent connections. As such, if you're certain that all important resources are fetched, you could adjust the wait until. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Jeff says, did GPT fix it? The answer is that GPT has a candidate fix. And so we can, I actually would prefer not to do this. Or increase the time limit, in this case to 60 seconds. I would also prefer not to do that. So let me just test this out manually. You know what? Hold on. It might be if the workflow ID is goofed. If the workflow ID is goofed, that could be the issue. All right, let me throw a debugger in here. I'm nickel and diming myself because I wanted to wrap up, but now I'm just like in it to win it. W in the chat if you understand, or give me an F in the chat if you can relate to fixation issues. F in the chat for fixation. What is the anchor element? Is it hiding behind an iframe or shadow? Could be. Could be. Yep, the team's all here. The team's all here. Team Toxic Fixation Gang. Okay, so let me go to the package JSON and go here and throw the debugger start. Code looks trash. Thanks, Puff. Kind of is trash right now. It's bugging. Oh, I misspelled debugger. Wow, I'm a real idiot. Top tier idiot. See, I'm showing y'all I need to log off. You hate to see it. Takes a hot minute to run and debug. Yeah, plus I'm running like the ancient Mesopotamian edition of Windows over here. Susan followed. Thanks, Susan. Thanks for being here. Five, four, three. Oh, and then it failed. It was about to connect. I was feeling it. It was about to connect. Okay, so this means that the navigation timeout is before the debugger statement. Could that be right? That seems kind of goofy. Lifecycle Watcher 162. Puppeteer Core Common Frame. 136.3. So it's actually occurring at this juncture, it claims. I don't actually believe it. I don't actually believe it. Oh, look at this. Yeah, maybe I'm getting rate limited. Oh, you know what? Here, empty cache and hard reload. Their server might just be like super slow right now. Let me close VS Code and make sure I'm not DDoSing them. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but you never know. You never know if you're accidentally DDoSing someone. You know, happens all the time. No, legit, their server is responding super slow. JS Dev on Windows, any good? JS Dev on Windows good? I mean, it works. Satisfactory, I think, is the word. They have a shit load balancer. Could be. Look, the things are just inching over here. I'm getting 200s. Okay, so this exterior site is loading like whippersnappers. Whippersnappers. But that's all static, isn't it? Yo, they're acting like they're getting DOSed or something, to be honest with you. Hey, if one of y'all is like cloning my open source project and then spinning up 1,000 lambdas to DDoS them, then you're mean and you should stop. That is not the intent of this project. Oh, file go fast? Oh, file go fast now. Okay, we're good. File go fast now. They could be rate limiting you. Yeah, I agree. Thing go fast now. So let's try. Whoa, cool looking SaaS. What are you building? A social media analytics application. You know what? I want to add a pause. Okay, I have an idea. Let me add a pause over here. Because it is moving quickly from one page to the next. So that could be somewhat problematic. All right, y'all. This is officially the last 4 minutes, and if we don't get there, hate to say it, but we're gonna do a whip commit. Stalking his ex on social media. Wow, crazy. Awesome. Best of luck. Have fun. Thank you so much, Matt. Thanks for being here. Can you name any app previously developed similar to you? Yeah, maybe Hype Auditor, maybe. Getting code actions from ESLint. Yo, this thing is moving slow. Moving slow out here, homie. All right, so we're going to run the debug terminal. The local geek. Hey, what's up? What's up? Good to see you. MG, thanks for the follow. Meh, thanks for the follow. Quick reminder, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch, link in my bio, and see the full screen. Could not find a production build. Ooh, goofy. Debugger attached and what, immediately died? Try building your app. Okay. No, I should not need to build my app because... Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. That's my bad. Yeah, that was on me. This thing that I'm trying to debug right now is not server full. It is not server full. What does your JavaScript do? It's a web scraper. Do you go live every day, bro? No, I go live, I don't know, a few times a week. Okay, so we got this far. Look, we caught it. Let me see my workflow records. Debug console. I got my records. Here's my data. So let me play through, and I think the issue is going to be this debugger right here. Play through. Yo, is it the, okay, so we got through. Let me look at the current record. Current record is this one, TikTok to LinkedIn. We got the workflow ID. Okay. I'm going to drop a breakpoint here as well. And do a log. Because maybe the issue is down here, huh? I don't see what that console.log is going to do, actually. I don't think it's beneficial. Okay, so let me play through. Just joined. What are you building? Oh, does GitHub have... Oh, yeah, GitHub does have achievements, yeah. Okay, so is this the issue? Is... workflow ID. Yeah, it's timing out going here. It's timing out going here. Record.workflow ID. So this is just like moving really slow. Is that the issue? TV enter. Let's see. We're going to try and go there manually. Yeah, it's just moving super slow. And I don't know if they're having a server issue or if they're limiting me. Server responded with a status of 403. Look at that, look at that. And so they finally allowed it. And what was the latency? It's literally just timing out. And I don't know if that's because they have a performance issue or because they're limiting me. In any case, that's going to do it for today. And yeah, so let me comment this for now. To do fix below. Either they're having a perf issue or limiting me. Okay, I'm coming up right now. All right, see you later.